Hi everybody, this is Zombi and welcome to another one of my dungeon boss videos. Here we are then with Possessed Tomb, one of Boss Island's legendary dungeons, and we are running it with a variation of the Daeris RPT team, except we're switching out Daeris with Kobal. So this follows exactly the same sequence as the Daeris RPT team that I made the video for. The only difference is that MK is actually being used to wipe out each room initially. So as you can see here, if you use Death Blossom, and you're able to use this if you follow the correct sequence on every single room, you wipe out that initial set of defenders, and then with the skeletons, as they raise, you can actually kill them off with Kobal. You can, of course, put Daeris in this, but I wanted to actually use a team that was using heroes that are accessible by everyone. For the second room and onwards, you want to be using Chilling Barrage from Indigo to generate that energy. As we just saw MK doing his thing and wiping out the initial set of defenders. Ekko using his energize ability to generate the energy, and then you can just keep this cycle going and going. Sometimes you might actually fall out of sequence with what you're doing here because your Indigo might not crit, for example. So potions wise, stock up on lots of energy potions. You don't need any others. The idea, the principle behind this is that none of these defenders actually get to even take a single attack, as you can see. Because MK is anti-undead, he's so powerful, he's able to wipe out all of these rooms and get them ready for Kobal to finish them off. The defenders of each room, they're actually quite weak. They don't have too many hit points, so they do die quite easily. So your stats don't need to be crazy. We'll go through some of the runes at the end of the video. But you don't need crazy stats on these to do it, especially because MK has got triple damage against undead. And we've got some non-undead there, but again, it's no big deal. They're fairly weak. The undead defenders do have a chance to disease you if any of your heroes touch them, so try and avoid that because you want to keep your damage output high. Keep everything ranged where possible. And as for Kobal and which abilities of his to use, always try and use that last one. You should have it readily available at all times, so Contagion can be used because of all the energy that's being generated. I was using Arcane Bolts on this one just because I had in my head I need to save the Contagion ability just in case something goes wrong, but it really never does, so use the one that's going to do the most damage. As you can see there's nothing special to say about the bosses. They get wiped out quite nicely. So let's take a quick look at the runes for that team then. So you guys will have seen my Kobal before. We've got a slight change on this one with regard to this rune here. Very powerful one. I was quite pleased with rolling that. And you've seen that one and you've seen that one. So stats wise, very powerful, but you don't need it that high to accomplish this. The actual enemies in there, as I've said already, they are quite weak. They're quite easy to kill. And MK does a lot of the damage on the most difficult enemies anyway. The skeletons that get raised just don't have the hit points. Next we've got MK. When I've last shown him on my videos, he's had quite a bit of a change actually. So as you can see, I created that crazy rune for him, which I'm very proud of. If only that was plus damage in PvP, that would have been even better. But it sort of continues. He's got some of my finest stuff on there. I need more legendaries, of course. Maybe I can craft some more, the green and red in the future. Stats wise, really rather strong. So he does a lot of damage to those undead. Again, you don't need him that powerful to that because of his triple damage. And then scrolling down, somewhere down here we have the last two. So Indigo, her runes, they're fairly mediocre. They're not amazing. Even though that's a superior, it's not great. I gave it her as a consolation prize, really. But the focus here should be on critical and not damage. You don't want her to do a huge amount of critical for these sorts of for this general team to work. Because you want to keep those heroes alive usually so you can get the energy from them. But there we go. And then finally, Spooky Ekko. There's really nothing special on little Ekko. He's only there for serving one purpose, which is to generate that energy. So fill him up with lots of defensives. That's all for now, guys. Please do leave comments, questions or suggestions in the comments section below. I'll always try to answer. Remember to check out the rest of my YouTube channel for more Dungeon Boss videos, or search Zombie Dungeon Boss in Google or YouTube for more. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.